Tonight on Joy News Prime, 15 bodies now retrieved from collapsed building at Achim Batebi in the eastern region. We will be at the scene as first responders continue their search for persons or bodies trapped under the rubble. President Akufo-Addo finally speaks out about the violent protests in Nigeria, urging calm as a peaceful resolution is sought to the demands of the protesters. The governor of Lagos State is also appealing for calm, but denies that there were fatalities at the Lekki toll gate, where the protesters are saying soldiers fired at them. Here in Ghana, some Nigerians residents here have been protesting.
This is the time for the youth to rise up. Yes. This is the time for the youth to rise up. Enough is enough of bad governance in Nigeria.
Government has described as untrue reports that excavators seized from illegal miners have been sold off.
Talk about by our friends in NDC that 500 excavators are missing, have been sold, have been stolen. It's neither here nor there.
In business,
a significant number of jobs lost due to COVID-19 have been restored. We have the details from findings of a new labor survey report.
As and when the restrictions were lifted, per the survey, some of the jobs were restored.
A staff of the Eastern Regional Hospital have decided to donate blood to save their patients after several unsuccessful attempts to get the public to support the blood bank.
Able to get blood has become very problematic for us, and in trying to solve the situation, we have resorted to asking our staff to donate.
My name is Israel, and Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our Fan of Our studios at Kokomlemle here in Accra, on your digital terrestrial TV, because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. Do stay tuned. In our first story, 15 bodies have so far been retrieved from a collapsed building where worshippers had gathered Tuesday afternoon in the eastern region town of Achim Batebi. NADMO and other first responders who trooped to the scene have been there since in an operation to rescue survivors and retrieve any bodies that they will find. The first responders say they are trying every means possible to rescue survivors trapped under the rubble. Eastern Regional NADMO Director Kwame Apiakodua gave these details a while ago when he addressed the media at the scene.
I don't go into some of these things. No institution has been able to get all the logistics that it needs for each operation. But the most critical thing to do now is in the light of the limited resources that we have, what can we do to salvage the situation? That is the most important thing that we need to talk about. So the inadequacy of logistics and equipment, we will discuss it on another platform. But going into the future, I think as a country, we need to take critical look at some of these things.
Would we see sniff dogs coming around?
Yes. Now we have some of them. They were brought by the CDS and his team. And very soon we'll see them around. We believe it is going to enhance the operation as well. Going forward, I think that is the way to go. But NADMO as an institution does not have the authority and power to demolish buildings. Ours is to do what we call the hazard mapping, and then to identify the potential hazard that is likely to migrate into disasters. So therefore we can be able to write a report on it for the assemblies. The decision to demolish or not to demolish rests on the assembly and their engineers. Yes. Exercise started from yesterday after the collapse of the building. NADMO and other stakeholders. So now we have a team of military personnel from the 64 Regiment. We have those from the Chazen Jungle Welfare. Then we have the ambulance service. We have NADMO Regional National Directorate, and then the AMA Akoso Manso District, and then the Odam Municipality. All of them are here. And then we have the Ghana Police. And we are on our rescue mission. As at yesterday, we were were able to rescue 6 dead people, and then we were able to rescue 7 people who were alive. All of them were sent to the Audit Government Hospital, and as of now, 6 of them have been discharged from the hospital. Only one person, a boy of 30 years, is still at the hospital. But the reports that we are getting is that the situation is better and he is likely to be discharged very, very soon. This morning, we continue with the mission of rescuing people. And as of this morning, we were able to rescue a woman who is alive. She is sent to the government hospital again, and one dead person who is also sent to the morgue at the same hospital. Yes.
So there have been a few more retrievals of bodies from the scene, and we'll be getting that latest for you. But some eyewitnesses who spoke with our sister station at Dome FM say many residents had to flee for safety when the building collapsed.
Masa, ada nak duduk bersama.
Right, so joining me from the scene right now is Adom FM's Kwesi Azor. Thank you very much, Kwesi. Now, the last time we checked, the death toll had hit 15. What's the very latest?
Yeah, Israel, if you can hear me, it has reached 16. As of this evening, it has reached 16.
So 16 bodies have been retrieved from the debris or the rubble.
Come again, my brother.
So you're saying 16 bodies have been retrieved from the rubble?
Yes.
And are the first responders still at the scene?
Yeah, currently as I'm talking to you right now, the rescue team has suspended their operation this evening. They say they were going to continue it tomorrow morning. According to the DCE, Alex Inkum, he says the security operatives are saying they don't think they can work this evening, so they have suspended all the activities till tomorrow morning. So currently, the rescue team, they have suspended with the police, the soldiers, and the fire service, the Ghana Armed Forces, all the team, they have suspended their operation this evening till tomorrow morning.
So the suspension is more because they do not have lights to work with?
Yes, actually, the lights over there, there are not many though. I'm told yesterday ECG came there to fix 2 of the street bulbs for them to enable them rescue some of the people in the collapsed building. But as of today, I can only see 2 of the bulbs, only 2. So I don't think maybe it might have been another problem, another issue. That's why they have suspended the operation. So it might be another problem. But I'm told the security says they should stop for a while till tomorrow morning. Yes, and this evening, I think about 4 family members, they are there crying that they can't find their relatives. According to one woman, an old woman, she says she has a baby. She has a daughter and a baby. She can't find them. So she has gone to the morgue, the hospital where those who have been retrieved are being taken care of. They are not there. So she rushed there to find out whether they are there. And fortunately, the authorities of the church says they can't find her daughter. So she said maybe she might have been in the collapsed building. So she informed the security personnel crying over there this evening that they should bring her daughter and the little baby out. Otherwise, she wouldn't go. So basically, maybe tomorrow, the security and the rescue team will continue with, the operations to retrieve or to get those who have been trapped under the collapsed building.
Now, Kwesi, do you get the impression by interacting with the first responders whether they're still looking or hopeful of finding any more survivors, or they just, at this point, just looking for bodies?
Israel, I'm told that now they can't find anybody who has life. According to the security personnel, they say now they can't find anybody who is alive. This evening, around 6 o'clock, they got another man who is an old man, right? And he's dead. In fact, the way the body.
All right, you don't have to describe. You don't have to describe that. Spare us that. Now, I would also want to understand, for a lot of people who are just coming to this story, can you describe to us exactly what happened? Because we've heard snippets. We're told that it's a church, and we're also told that it's an uncompleted structure. Can you tell us exactly what this place is?
Yes, it's uncompleted structure. After the building collapsed, you can find that there's underground. In fact, it's very, very tall. This underground is where those who are coming for treatment, like if you go to this prayer camps, there's a lot of people who will be coming for that they are sick. They will be coming for prayers and all that. This is where those people are kept. So this afternoon, for instance, they break one of those places, and you could see their bags, their personal belongings, their saucepans, and their cooking utensils, and a whole lot being packed over there. And I saw a certain woman over there. She was dead, and they brought her out. And they are there. In fact, the whole building was uncompleted, and according to reports, it has been there for 28 years. Every year, the man, with the help of his own church members, do something or continue with it. So, I mean, that there's down at the first floor, second, third, fourth, and you can see that he's continuing with it with bricks. He has laid about 2 bricks, which shows that, he can still continue with the building. And what we've also found was bamboo trees in the building. This means that there's not enough iron rocks in the building, but you can find a lot of bamboo trees in the building too.
So from what you're explaining, this is a church, and we apparently have a photo of the building on the screens right now. So this is a structure that this person was building as a church, but has been at it for what, 28 years?
Yeah.
And yet they were still worshiping in it. And from what you're explaining, it's not just an ordinary church, but it's a church where you can be camped.
Yes. In fact, it's very big. And according to the DCE, he says a lot of people come from all over the region, and some of them come from Accra, Tema, Kumasi to worship at that church.
It probably then means that this building may have a lot more people than we're being told.
Yes, according to an eyewitness that I spoke with yesterday, the guy told me that there were about 64 people. And there's a lot of people who has also come to visit the man, the prophet Isaac. He was sick, so a lot of people, sympathizers, were coming in to visit him. So there were many, but those around the church building and in the church building, when the incident happened, there were about 64. So a lot of them were outside the church. So when the incident happened, all of them ran away. So we couldn't count them, but he could count about 64 people in that church building when the incident happened.
And where is the prophet or the owner of the building right now?
He was invited by Akimodan Divisional Police Command next morning, and as of this evening, he is there. We wanted to have a word with him, but his church members prevented us from even seeing him. Even this evening, as we were leaving there, the church members were even insulting us. Youth pressmen, inquisitive, and a whole lot. They were even fighting us. We wanted to get near to them to speak with some of them, but they say they won't talk. So I don't know whether the authorities has warned them not to talk to the media. Well, that one I can't tell now. But if you get to them, they say no, we won't talk.
All right. Thank you very much, Kwesi Azor. He's with Adom FM. He was bringing us details from the scene of that tragedy. Moving on, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Kweku Asomachrem, has denied allegations the government has sold excavators seized from illegal miners, popularly referred to as galamseyers. Giving updates on the excavators, he explained that a total of 157 are currently in the custody of the ministry, adding that his office is collaborating with the Office of the Attorney General on how to move forward.
Excavators. Excavators, I have alluded to the fact that the number we have is 157 at Adenta and Obuasi and Takwa. These are the areas that we have the excavators. The number that I have provided are numbers that are on site. The place is not walled, it is not closed. So each of us can join us on Friday morning around 11. We are going to do further counting of our machines over there and make a press conference to that effect. I'm doing this because the talk about by our friends in NDC that 500 excavators are missing, have been sold, have been stolen. It's neither here nor there. I stood at Fury Forest at Tiahini Valley area and told journalists that not to the best of our knowledge as a ministry that 500 excavators are missing, that 500 excavators have been sold. The government has not sold any excavator. Whoever claims that excavators have been sold, let the person come up with further and better particulars. The chassis numbers of such excavators, registration numbers of such excavators, and all that. We welcome all that and subject same to proper scrutiny and investigation.
He adds that over 4,000 jobs have been created in the mining industry since the government took over, and several thousand more will be added following the creation of the community mining scheme.
To create jobs for the youth whilst ensuring sustainable management of the natural resources, the following interventions were undertaken from 2017 to date. Linking youth employment to plantation development, providing alternative livelihood programs for communities in mine areas and forest-fringed communities, facilitation and promotion of community mining schemes. So far, the Youth in Afforestation program has generated 81,362 jobs. Alternative livelihood programs, is the figure correct? Yes. Alternative livelihood program for the production and distribution of oil palm seedlings from 2017 to 2019 has benefited 33,044 individuals. As part of the alternative livelihood program in forest-fringed communities, 500 beneficiaries were trained and supported in seedling production, beekeeping, mushroom production, and soap making around Bono East, Ahafo, Western North regions under the Forest Investment Program. The community mining program that seeks to promote responsible mining within mining communities is expected to create 126,000 jobs effective June 2020. About 220 youth have been employed as mine wardens to assist in combating illegal mining. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the ministry will continue to pursue government's agenda to ensure sustainable management of the nation's natural resources in order to contribute more effectively to economic growth and development. The ministry will, going forward, pay particular attention to developing bauxite and iron and steel industries, explore other minerals other than gold, such as base metals and rare earth metals, to assist in the mineral diversification of the mining industry. Provide security land tenure for the citizenry to attract investment and restore the forest cover of the nation while providing employment security for the youth.
Now, lives of aircraft passengers are in danger as signals from control towers at the Kotoka International Airport are being blocked by illegal buildings put up on lands belonging to the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority by private and real estate developers at East Legon, Ashale Boche and La Wales. That is according to the spokesperson of the Coalition of Ghana Civil Aviation Association Workers. At East Legon, some of the developers are said to have cleared the green belt, which is supposed to absorb the carbon monoxide emitted from vehicles on the Accra-Tema motorway. The green belt, which was also to make it possible for an extension of the motorway, can now best be described as a concrete jungle. Maxwell Agwagba has more.
Voice of Dr. Andrew Anani Akutu showing me a picture with his wife during a visit to the South Pole. He reminisces about the good times there. In the 1970s, it was the lush green and the serene environment that attracted him to East Legon. But that is no more. The greenery has now given way to concrete. The green belt has been cleared by property developers, with some of them dangerously constructing high-rise buildings under flight approach paths. The former director of the UNFPA and the former chairman of the National Population Council is just one out of the many Ghanaians terrified about the situation. He wants persons who have put their personal interests above the state's interest punished.
And all the trees have been cut down, and we see high-rise buildings going up, and it only goes to confirm, I fear, what a friend of mine used to say, that in Ghana, monkeys play by sizes. If you are big enough, you'll get away with it. These buildings could not have been put up without the knowledge of the appropriate authorities in the country.
The laws of this country, it cannot happen.
Voice of Roads and Highways Minister Kwesi Amwaku Atta when he visited the Green Belt sometime last week. The Green Belt was also to make it possible for the extension of the Accra-Tema motorway. But it has been cleared by private and real estate developers as they continue to build on the land. The Roads and Highways Minister ordered the demolition of the structures on the land, vowing to pull down more.
And the right thing will be done no matter who is involved. This structure, I don't care who is the owner. You could be anybody. This structure will go down. I have ordered the destruction of that structure. And no matter who the owners are, it will not be tolerated. We will not stop such an important overpass over the motorway that will serve the people of this country because of individuals' selfish interests. What permit? And write to them to stop work. If they don't, just as I have ordered the demolition of about 4 or 5 houses today, if they don't stop within 2 weeks, I will come here with more excavators and the full force of national security.
Drive on the streets very close to East Legon Tunnel, where the Green Belt is located, reveals how private developers have taken over the land with their makeshift and permanent structures. All the trees have been completely destroyed. One of the residents alerted me to how an aircraft which was about to land at the Kotoka International Airport was closer to one of the high-rise buildings under construction.
People don't realize it.
I am now in an office at the airport city to meet Dr. Isaka Yakubu Akparibo. He has many years of experience in the aviation industry. He's alarmed by the danger and equally concerned about high-rise buildings and flight approach paths at East Legon.
In aviation, most accident happens when aircrafts are landing or taking off.
Okay.
If you are on the approach path and something happens, the number of lives that is going to be lost is going to be high. You are going to lose people in the aircraft and then people on the ground.
Yeah.
That's why in countries that have like coastlines, if you observe, most of the airports are nearer the coastline, so that you take off and then you go through on this through the sea side, and then if there's anything, you can the aircraft drops, and then the casualties won't be much because it will only be the people on the aircraft but not on the ground. There are so many developments along the approach path to our airports, and that definitely poses some safety issues in regards to aviation operations. Any structure that is like above 500 feet closer to the airport will pose a danger to aircraft. So you look at the approach path of our airport is northeast, which is like from East Legon there. So that one, like high-rise structures are definitely going to interfere with aircraft landing at our airports. In aviation, what we don't want is distraction. The least distraction of the pilot normally will lead to like accidents.
Some meters away from the East Legon Green Belt is the very high-frequency omnidirectional range, VOR. The VOR is a ground-based navigational aid which enables an aircraft with receiving units to determine its position and stay on course by receiving radio signals. Aviation experts discourage close settlements around VORs. But that has become inevitable at East Legon, where there's a VOR equipment. Spokesperson for the Coalition of Ghana Civil Aviation Authority Workers, William Amwaku, is also concerned about the developments at East Legon.
When you install this equipment, even the first 300 meters radius, you don't have to leave anything there. If even I'm the one going to do repairs on this facility, I have to park my car beyond the 300 meter radius. The next 600 to even 2 kilometers, you cannot do certain things there. Metallic or certain things that can radiate radiomagnetic waves and the rest. So there are strict requirements. So when you have high-rise buildings which block some of these signals, it affects the reception and everything.
Well, Lands and Natural Resources Minister Kwekwa Sumachreme is rejecting claims his ministry and the Lands Commission are complicit in the illegal sale of aviation land. The Coalition of Ghana Civil Aviation Authority Workers had accused the two state institutions of selling the land to private and real estate developers.
DS has been zoned in 3 parcels, one for government, one for La Traditional Council, and the other for aviation. The government had 12.5 acres of that parcel of land, which is opposite AU Village. And La Traditional Council had 17.5 acres of sale. Aviation Ministry had 15.5 acres of land, of that parcel of land. And Aviation Ministry has appended its signature to the lease that has granted them this land. They have executed it. It is therefore not right for aviation to stand today if they will say that any sale of land over there is illegal. The portion that went to La Traditional Council, AU Village used to be part of the entire aviation land.
And you're welcome to the business segment here on Joy News Prime with me, Gifty Ando Apia. Today, a significant number of jobs lost during the lockdown period of COVID-19 has been restored. Well, that's according to a research conducted by the Economics Department of the University of Ghana, Legon, and commissioned by the Labour Ministry. The survey was to help shape labour policy in accordance with what's now the new normal. George Yafe has the rest of the story.
The survey showed that 11,657 jobs were lost during the first 3 months of the COVID-19 pandemic. These were firms mainly in the micro-sized sectors of the economy. However, shipping and marine subsectors together with finance suffered the least job losses. The report showed that nobody in the public sector lost his or her job. The Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafwe, revealed this at the annual general meeting of the Ghana Employers Association in Accra. Speaking to Joy Business later, the minister noted that the decision to call back majority of these workers shows that the economy is indeed picking up.
One of the revelations of the survey was that, yes, indeed, at the height of COVID, some jobs were lost because the businesses for which they were working for either folded up or went on suspension or something of the sort. But as and when the restrictions were lifted, per the survey, some of the jobs were restored. As of the time of conducting the survey at the end of August, some 25% of jobs that had been lost to COVID had been restored. And I want to believe that if the same survey were to be conducted now, the percentage of restoration will have been more than the 24 that was recorded some 2-3 months earlier.
Speaking to Joy Business, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Employers Association, Alex Fimpon, said they are committed to recall more staff as long as the situation improves.
Well, I think that it has been a very, very difficult year. It has been very challenging. And at the beginning of the year, we least expected those developments to really create a lot of turbulence in the business environment. So it was unexpected, but resilient as businesses are, they've been able to weather the storm. And I'm sure after the stabilization, a lot of them will take off strongly so that they will be on the path of growth for profitability.
In a separate development, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has given the firm assurance of government's commitment to support businesses to aid their recovery post the easing of COVID-19 restrictions.
If you look at the economic landscape, we have introduced the GERSAL to support agriculture. We also launched the government 2 billion guaranteed facility to support industry. We have, as you know, created the Ghana Commodities Exchange that is also supporting agriculture. The Ghana Infrastructure Fund is getting more capital to be able to support the work that you need to do. Hospitals, as you know, are being built, and we are going to put a lot of resources into that and expect that industry will rise to the challenge of producing equipment.
According to the Ghana Employers Association, the year can be described as an interesting one, looking at all the challenges that they had to deal with.
George Yafe with that report. Now, the Bank of Ghana has expressed optimism about meeting the target of plus or minus 8% inflation rate by end of year. Charles Nixon Yeboah takes a look at the central bank's rationale behind this optimism.
The Bank of Ghana believes inflation will take a nosedive in the coming months due to receding domestic aggregate demand pressures and a well-calibrated monetary policy stance. The subdued global inflation and well-anchored inflation expectations are also some of the factors that should help push inflation towards the medium-term target band in the outlook. The Bank of Ghana's survey of inflation expectations pointed to heightened inflation projections within the period of August, which was mainly attributed to the impact of the 2 panic buying episodes on price expectations. But inflation went down to 10.4% in September,
indicating a slowdown in increment in price of goods and services within the period. Prices of foodstuffs were the major contributor to the marginal fall in inflation. Going forward, the central bank says key risks to inflation include a possible second-round effect of the rise in transport prices and the unchanged food prices, which has slowed the disinflation process. However, the potential decline in food prices during the impending harvest season could possibly mute the second-round effect. Inflation is projected to return to the central target by the second quarter of next year.
That's it for business news this hour. I'm back after 8. My name is Gifty Andopia.
Thank you for staying with us on Joy News Prime. Gary Al Smith here with the sport. Yesterday, the National Sports Authority, you might recall, made a public statement requesting clubs to pay 20,000 Ghana cedis per match and 15,000 Ghana cedis per match, respectively, before they can't use the Accra Sports Stadium in the incoming season. Now, that statement has been withdrawn. Let's go on the phone now and speak to spokesperson of the authority, Charles Amofa. Charles, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gary.
Yes, so we know the timeline is that the decision was made. The GFA president spoke strongly against the amount. He called it exorbitant, I think, and unfair. And this morning we heard that it had been withdrawn, but there was no reason ascribed to the withdrawal from your outfit. Could you tell us, please?
No, thank you, Gary. Good evening to your listeners. Yeah, like you rightly said, we had a management meeting yesterday in the evening. You know, we had calls from stakeholders, GALCA, GFA, and then the clubs, affected clubs. You know, we have 6 teams that are using Accra Sports Stadium as their home venue for the upcoming league matches. So management of the authority met yesterday, and we decided that it looks as if the complaints are something that we have to look at. So there was a need for us to withdraw the letter that we put out there 3 days ago. So that is what informed that decision.
Okay. Now that it's been withdrawn, is there a likelihood that we will see it come up again? Because, I mean, the authority still needs money. That was the original reason why you brought out the decision in the first place.
Yes, my brother. You know, organizing a match at the Accra Sports Stadium, you know what goes into it. You know, we have to hire the services of major stakeholders like security, medical, and other, you know, maintenance costs that we also incur. There was a point in time that we were even taking off the national grid, you know, due to debt that we owe to the ECG. So we still having discussions with the clubs as to the options that we have, whether we'll have to still go by the old formula, whereby we use percentages from the gate proceeds.
Very well, Charles. Charles, before you go, how much does it cost to organize a game at the Accra Sports Stadium?
For each game, we spend not less than 10,000 Ghana cedis to organize a match, taking into consideration power consumption, water, the other expenditure that I mentioned.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. So that's Charles Amofa. He speaks for the National Sports Authority. And that's it for the first part of the sport. I'll be back on the other side of 8 with more. Thank you for your time.
Right, it's time for Showbiz Now, and Becky is here. Hello, Becky.
Hello to you. Easy. Everyone is talking about ending SARS.
Yep.
Our own Ghanaian celebrities have joined in the fight, the protest, and most of them were asking, you know, the president to speak on this particular issue.
And he has finally spoken.
He did.
Well,
So I'm asking, so what next?
Well, yeah, he's speaking, I believe, but he also indicated in the tweet that he had called President Buhari.
Buhari, yeah.
We're expecting that he probably may have given him some ideas as to how this can be resolved and resolved peacefully. But from what we're reading, from what is happening in Nigeria, it doesn't look like this is something that can be that easily resolved. It sounds more like a revolution. In fact, Bernard Boy, in an interview with the BBC, indicated that, yes, it started off as a protest against police brutality, but it's now looking more like a revolution.
Okay.
And that revolution, or these revolutions, may end up bringing down the president.
The president. Well, we're still supporting, our Nigerian brothers and sisters.
Yes, we're supporting them to the extent that we're hoping that this can be peacefully resolved, that no more lives will be lost in all of this.
So my point actually was that when everybody else was calling on our president to say something, he's finally come out to say something. So we're looking, moving forward, what's
how it's going to be resolved.
And you just gave us that. But let's congratulate Kwesiata, rapper Kwesiata. He has been featured in the BET Cypher 2020. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a small little video of him, featuring in that, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Is it?
For us, take you to the Volta region. The president is on tour there, and we have Prayer.
Okay.
Yeah. So why you?
Once you mention the president, I know you're going to talk about e-vibes, right?
Oh, the president. He was he'll be watching on Saturday. No. No, he is on tour. Okay. But I mean, he should be in Accra to watch. But he can still watch it there.
Yeah, wherever.
But Prayer, they're supporting the MPP. I mean, it's election year.
So the last election they did.
Yeah. I mean, they want to take the shine from Kwabna, but it won't happen. It won't happen. So prior, they were with the president back in the Volta region, and they've been campaigning, saying so many things, and I would like you to hear it.
Hold it, DJ, hold it. Do you know I am a son of this land? Do you guys know I'm the son of this land? I'm a son of this land. Okay, I just want to ask one question. Just one question. If you give me an answer, I'll leave. Okay, what exactly has Muhammad done for us? We the airways. I want to name one. Just name one. Just name one. Nothing. No. So why are we voting for him? Why are we voting for NDC? Why do we keep voting for NDC? Now the youth, are we going to stand up and vote for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to continue the job, to continue the work? Now let me give you my list. Free education. One district, one factory. Hospital.
Okay, so but there's a thin line between away and away.
Yes. So for those of you who don't understand, away
is he's done it.
Yeah.
But if you don't
you
take
surprise me with your away skills. I'm always surprised.
Oh yeah.
Speak more. Let me see. Speak.
Look
Brad, like speak. Look at your man.
All right, thank you very much.
Anytime. You don't have too much time for me. I wanted to talk about Taraji P. Henson. She actually revealed that she broke up with her fiance, Hayden, and it's a very sad news. I love Taraji.
We all do. We all do love her. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Becky, for bringing us showbiz. That'll be it for those of you watching on Joy Prime. But there's more news on the Joy News channel. Of course, we'll be dealing with the crisis in Nigeria when we come back. Now, President Akufo-Addo has broken his silence on the ongoing violent protests in some Nigerian states with a tweet calling for calm and dialogue. The social media post comes after he was flagged on social media for his silence on the matter as Nigerians complained about brutality at the hands of their security forces. President Akufo-Addo, who doubles as ECOWAS chairman, said in his tweet, "I join all well-meaning persons in calling for calm and the use of dialogue in resolving the end SARS impasse in Nigeria. I have spoken with President Buhari, who is committed to this end and has begun the processes that will lead to reform. Violence, be it on the part of the police or protesters, cannot be the solution. To the families who have lost their loved ones, I express my sincere condolences and I wish the injured speedy recovery." Meanwhile, the regional bloc ECOWAS has also issued a statement calling on the protesters to show their disapproval in a non-violent manner. The Commission notes with concern that demonstrations by Nigerian youth calling for reform, particularly the abolition of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS of the Nigeria Police, accused of misconduct by those demonstrating, have turned violent. ECOWAS Commission expresses its condolences to the families and friends of those who have lost their lives during the protest and wishes the injured a speedy recovery. Meanwhile, ECOWAS Commission recognizes the right of citizens to freedom of expression and peaceful assembly and protest. It is also of the view that those rights should be exercised in a non-violent manner. In this regard, ECOWAS Commission calls on all protesters to remain peaceful in the conduct of their demonstrations. It also urges the Nigerian security operatives to exercise restraint in the handling of the protests and act professionally. ECOWAS Commission further notes that in an effort to address the demands of the protesting youth, the federal government of Nigeria took important decisions regarding disbandment of SARS, comprehensive police reforms, and investigation of cases of police brutality. It encourages the Nigerian authorities to conduct the investigation rapidly. Finally, ECOWAS Commission appeals to the federal government of Nigeria, the Nigerian youth, and the civil society to urgently pursue dialogue for an early and an amicable resolution of this social unrest and maintain the Nigerian image as the bastion of law and order. And it's signed by His Excellency John Claude Kasibru, President of the ECOWAS Commission. The development has also caught the attention of the United Nations. In a statement issued by the spokesperson for the Secretary General, Stefan Dujarric, it says the Secretary General is following recent developments in Nigeria and calls for an end to reported police brutality and abuses. He condemns the violent escalation on October 20 in Lagos, which resulted in multiple deaths and caused many injuries. He expresses his condolences to the bereaved families and wishes a speedy recovery to those injured. He calls on the Nigerian authorities to investigate these incidents and hold the perpetrators accountable. The Secretary General urges the security forces to act at all times with maximum restraint while calling on protesters to demonstrate peacefully and to refrain from violence. The Secretary General encourages the authorities to swiftly explore avenues to de-escalate the situation. He reiterates the readiness of the United Nations to support national efforts towards finding a solution, and it is signed by Stefan Dujarric, spokesperson for the Secretary General. Meanwhile, earlier today, hundreds of Nigerian youth massed up at the Nigerian High Commission in Accra, calling on the international community to immediately deal with what is gradually becoming an uprising in their country. 12 protesters are said to have been shot dead by soldiers in Lagos Tuesday night after some Nigerians hit the streets to demand the disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS. Here in Ghana, the protesting youth are demanding immediate intervention by ECOWAS. My colleague Manuel Coranting was there and has come through with this.
From the Nigerian High Commission, Nigerians living in Ghana picketed the premises of the Nigerian High Commission, all in protest of the issues that are happening in Nigeria. But they are calling for an immediate end to SARS.
SARS right now, and SARS
us right now. That's a criminal.
It's a pity that we have to leave now to make things right. It is a shame that we are here for 3 hours. The Nigerian High Commissioner could not come and address to their children, to their sons and their daughters that are crying for our brothers and sisters that have been massacred, that was massacred last night. The Nigerian High Commissioner, a mother who refused to come and attend to the cry of the Nigerian youth. When we say answers, we are saying reform. Reform the Nigerian police. Pay their salary very well. Give them good salary. Give them good accommodation. You understand? We are not saying stop police. We are saying reform. And under SARS is a slogan. It has bad governance. We want good health sectors. We want good education sector system. We want good road. We want lights. These are the necessities that we are asking of.
We are here to call on the international community to come to the aid of the Nigerian youth, because as of yesterday, the Nigerian government led an onslaught on peaceful protesters in Lekki, Lagos. It starts from Nigeria, it will graduate to other countries.
Indeed, you're in a country that, fortunately, per the context of the situation, is led by the chairman of the ECOWAS Commission. We've not heard anything from that. What are you expecting from the chairman of the ECOWAS Commission?
That is one of the reasons why we are here today, because we expect him not to be silent. Because silent in times like this means we are supporting impunity.
The future lies in our hands, okay? I am a graduate of political science, but what am I today? Where am I today? What am I doing? You understand? Without a godfather, you can't make it in Nigeria. You understand me? Without a godfather. So we don't need that kind of governance again. We say no to that. And Buhari must go. Buhari must go. This is the time for the youth to rise up. This is the time for the youth to rise up. Enough is enough of bad governance in Nigeria. You understand?
More than 100 people were massacred in cold blood yesterday. We are tired. In all my 27 years as a Nigerian, I've never benefited one thing from Nigerian government. Bad education, bad road, bad governance, bad leadership, bad everything, lack of electricity. We are tired. Right here we are protesting against bad governance, and we're asking Buhari should resign.
Yeah, it's not just Nigerian youth that are here protesting the gruesome murder of their colleagues back in their home. This gentleman here is a Ghanaian student. Well, tell me, why are you joining them?
I think we need solidarity in this state. We are people who are synchronized. We believe in Pan-Africanism. We believe in human rights for everyone, everywhere. And so what's happening in Nigeria is something we are all not pleased with. And there's nothing like this should be allowed anywhere in the world, especially not in Nigeria. Nothing like this should be allowed, especially in a country. All you are asking for is dignity. The only thing they are asking for is to respect their human rights. And so every Ghanaian like myself should join us to protest this thing. I hope that the love that Ghanaians have for Nigerians and the love that Nigerians have for Ghanaians to stay. End SARS now, end police brutality. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says a formal probe on who ordered the military to fire the protesters is underway, but described as untrue. Reports that the number of protesters were killed by soldiers at the Lekki toll gate Tuesday night. Well, the governor has since the broadcast posted a tweet about one death but says it was unrelated. So it reads, information reaches us now is that a life was lost at Reddington Hospital due to blunt force trauma to the head. It is an unfortunate and very sad loss. This is an isolated case. We are still investigating if he was a protester, and this tweet was posted at 10:30 a.m. Today. And as you can see, so far, been retweeted 4,000 times. So 12,000 times, actually. Now, as pressure mounted on President Akufo-Addo to speak up about the disturbances in Nigeria, members of Parliament were divided over whether or not the president, who doubles as ECOWAS chairman, really needed to make a statement. For Chairman of Parliament's Committee on Foreign Affairs, Frank Anodompreh, and MP for Kankwe Central, the president must use diplomatic means first before speaking on the issue. But MP for Kumbungu, Ras Mubarak, thought the president needed to speak.
He's a leader of the ECOWAS, the fact that the proximity-wise, Ghana is very close to Nigeria and all that. So if you put all these concerns and variables in perspective, one would say that it's a reasonable call. However, significantly, I must admit that there are other things being done on behind the stage that is not known necessarily. And hence, because I'm privileged to know all the things that are being done, I can say comfortably that a lot of consultations are ongoing. You know, it is not more about when he speaks, as important as speaking which will elicit the necessary feedback and ultimately lead to the resolution of the matter. So I think I was hasting with caution. The president, you know how caring and how important he appreciates the relevant or resolution of conflict in the sub-region.
This is a domestic issue that I've said. The Nigerian administration has been able to handle it. It hasn't gotten to the ECOWAS level. The president does not speak anyhow. He speaks based on intelligence, information, and reviews and positive briefings that he receives from the ECOWAS Secretariat. The president is chair of ECOWAS. He speaks based on what he is briefed by his compatriots and the Secretariat that he heads and the bloc that he heads. So the president will always be advised by intelligence, by his ECOWAS compatriots, and by his foreign affairs minister on such issues. But it's purely a domestic matter that is being handled.
Well, clearly, under circumstances like this, there may be some talks behind the scenes, but we are facing a situation that is getting out of hand, that is getting out of control, and for which reason ECOWAS as a body of which the president chairs would probably have to issue a tersely written statement, urging calm, encouraging the government of Nigeria to address the concerns of the protesters. I mean, that wouldn't hurt anybody.
Still in Parliament, MP for South Dai, Roxing Nelson Dafiameko, is describing as unconstitutional moves by the Audit Service Board to audit the foreign travels of Auditor General Daniel Domlovo. The Audit Service Board has appointed a private firm known as K&A Accounting Services to undertake that audit, which will also cover other top management staff of his office. Mr. Domlovo has kicked against the move, insisting that it is a breach of the Constitution, adding that only Parliament is clothed with that power. The MP insists he will raise it in Parliament on Friday and may even head to court.
The decision by the board of the Audit Service to, as it were, audit the accounts of the Auditor General is blatantly unconstitutional, it's an aberration, it's void and a nullity. And therefore, I am demanding that the board desist from such an action. Indeed, the graphic carried the story yesterday or so. Now, if you look carefully at Article 187 of the Constitution 1992, particularly at Clause 15, the power to audit the accounts of the Auditor General is vested in Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. It is Parliament that will appoint an auditor to scrutinize the accounts of the Auditor General and report back to Parliament. So if a certain board chairman sitting somewhere decides to do this, it amounts to usurpation of the powers of Parliament, and that is contumacious of its powers. We will not allow anyone to intrude into our functions and, as it were, take it away from us. So indeed, I intend to raise this matter on Friday. I have put out a statement stating clearly the remit of the law as regards the power of the board as contained in Section 4, subsections 1, 2, and 3 of the Audit Service Act, 2000 Act 524. I have given you an indication that Friday, when business for next week will be considered in the House, I intend to raise this matter. Because first of all, I want to gauge the mood of the House. whether we are willing to perform our mandate as anchored under Article 187, Clause 15, where we are given the power to conduct this exercise. If I gauge the mood of the House and comes to the firm understanding that Parliament may not be willing to proceed to audit, to appoint an external auditor to audit the accounts of the Auditor General. Indeed, the year hasn't even drawn to a close. So what will even be the basis? That is why I'm saying the exercise is to achieve a certain mischief. But I intend to resist this matter in a law.
There are several failed attempts to get the public to donate life-saving blood to the hospital. Staff of the Eastern Regional Hospital have decided to support Medical Director Dr. Ako Akoto says he had to show the way to convince the rest of the staff to follow suit. The move has become necessary due to severe shortage at the facility's blood bank. Maxwell Kudoko reports.
According to Dr. Akoto Ampao, the hospital has just about 7 pints of blood at the bank, as against a daily consumption rate of 10 pints on the average. He said the COVID-19 is the main cause of the depletion in the blood bank. Akoto Ampao is pleading with the general public to come to the hospital and donate generously to save lives. He has been speaking with Joy News.
It was so critical. The hospital had just about 7 pints of blood. And if you look at our daily consumption, we are supposed to have like a minimum of around 40 to 50 pints of blood. This is because the COVID situation had made it worse. And it has also become important that the people who actually give us the best part of our donation, which are the second cycle institutions, the secondary schools, are on break because of the COVID. So to be able to get blood has become very problematic for us. And in trying to solve the situation, we have resorted to asking our staff to donate. And it is on record that department by department, we have requested some donations even from the National Service. And me myself, I've actually donated, and it's just to be able to ensure that we have some amount of blood in the blood bank.
Dr. Akoto Ampao demystified the phobia of blood donation among some Ghanaians.
To get the blood sufficiency that we need, it would be important that at least every adult donates at least 1 pint a year. However, we are very confident that those that are regular donors, even if they do donation, which we recommend every quarter, will still be able to meet that sufficiency. And I would say that people should not be afraid of donating blood. It's a process. It does not last more than 10 minutes. It will take you through all the protocols and other things.
President Akufo-Addo has kick-started his 2-day tour of the Oti region with an inspection of rehabilitation works on the Nkonya-Wuropong Kwame Krome Road. About 43% of the 58.8 million CD project, which started in April 2020, has been completed. The 21 kilometers being undertaken by Messrs. First Sky is expected to be completed before April 2022. President Akufo-Addo therefore implored the people of the Oti region to endorse his 4 more to do more and vote to enable him to continue his transformational agenda for Ghana.
the South. Me kwami to me kwa bemu me ye. Me here one year bemu me. So teacher one of the come rashe me demo. Na me person me teaching policies and me person me here no. What is one of the one thing akaho e ma yi mo mind. It is 7th of December. Nana ekwa ohia kosina. Agriculture Minister can see what war
Flag bearer of the opposition NDC former President John Mahama has promised to retrieve locked-up investments of customers of Maize Gold if he wins the December polls. Speaking to residents of Takwa and Swayam, Mr. Mahama promised to use every legitimate means to retrieve the money to owed customers.
What you may say, I buy Maize Gold assemble and your Muhia assemble. If you say, who would your Muhia Faho? And Nipana, a G Nipasicano. On the number. Let's go for some demonstration. Now the police are called Bromo. And then I want person who yet now yet treat Nipanaso. Now yet Jessica May. Make I am maybe my uncle for best good for almost some demonstration. The police go almost a pro mu here and the chichi be echo tumu ezu nyame adom NDC aban baba say NDC aban ba some Maize Gold say me ye be hwehwemu ye be hwem na omo maji musika no ye be di omochi na ya je sika no na ya chama mo.
Right, you're watching Journey's Prime. We're taking a break. We're bringing you more business. Just stay tuned.
Hello there, I'm back with more of business news. I am Gifty Ando up here. Now, employers have indicated that the improvement in economic activities after easing of COVID-19 restrictions is impacting positively on their businesses. The coronavirus pandemic had a negative impact on some businesses, forcing most of them to shut down, while others had to lay off their staff. But speaking to Joy Business, Chief Executive of the Ghana Employers Association, Alex Frimpong, said there's a regain of confidence in the employment sector.
That it has been a very, very difficult year. It has been very challenging. And at the beginning of the year, we least expected those developments to really create a lot of turbulence in the business environment. So it was unexpected, but resilient as businesses are, they've been able to weather the storm. And I'm sure after the stabilization, a lot of them will take off strongly so that they will be on the path of growth for profitability.
Tying into the pickup of the economy, easing of restrictions, and even the research that the minister talked about, them working with the accounts department, it appears that things are normalizing for you now as you are calling back some of your workers that you asked them to go and stay home.
Well, honestly, upon hindsight, we realize that the fears that businesses entertained in March, April, and May, I think we did not see the worst. And I think through the ingenuity of the national health team, the economic management team, I think we were able to do a good job by making sure that there's some stability in the system. And now I think businesses are beginning to have confidence in measures that have been put in place to revive the economy. So we really have to join forces with government and all other stakeholders to make sure that this economy come back on a scale that will propel business expansion and growth.
Do I get from you that for those a lot of people who were asked to go home, there's some opportunity for them in terms of them being asked to come back as the recovery impacts positively on your business?
Well, I think that I have said times without number that one of the most difficult decisions every business will take is to dispense with its human resource. It's normally a very difficult decision to make, but it is done to make sure that the business is able to survive during a certain period of time. If you look at the pandemic, initially a lot of businesses did not see their way clear as to what was going to happen. So some took certain decisions to dispense with some employees, either on a temporary basis, some on a permanent basis, and others also restructured their working hours, and also even reduce some of the working hours to suit the nature of the operation, depending upon what was at stake. Yeah. So now that businesses, the environment is getting better, confidence is growing, both local and international. I'm sure that in the goodness of time, businesses may have to engage their employees, even those who were asked to stay home. Some may be called, but again, it will be depending upon how the economy stabilizes and also the nature of the prospects.
And I sincerely hope that your businesses are bouncing back. Well, that will be all for me tonight. I'm Gifty Ando Apia with the business, and Israel Lai will continue with the news. Many thanks for your time.
Thank you for staying with us on Joy News Prime. Gary Al Smith here again with the sports. Now, King Faisal owner Alhaji Karim Gruza says his wish is to have the team participate in the league until the time of his demise. According to him, he has seen many positives from the playing body and is hopeful of a brighter future.
Coach Slavisa Bosisic revealed his target is a 6th place finish in the upcoming Ghana Premier League season. However, owner of the club, Alhaji Gruza's wish is to avoid relegation.
Now, but if you are preparing, God also is doing what he's doing. But this year, I don't want to see King Faisal in relegation again out to my dead body. Okay. Inshallah, that's what I want.
King Faisal babies were unable to win a single game in the cancelled football season. Despite their campaign many described as poor, Gruza is satisfied with the contribution of the coach to the team of the pitch.
I think he get the sponsors for the Chelsea, and last 2 weeks he told me he's going to meet some academy. They want collaboration with King Faisal. And me and him, we are meeting some businessmen in this country for helping. Okay. With him and me, if you go to, we have high profile to talk to anyone in this country.
Slavisa's boys will play Wafa in their first game of the upcoming season. The new Ghana Premier League campaign is expected to start on November 13.
To boxing, and Carl Loco is a name that is synonymous with training youthful talent in this country. He has a new boxer in his stables and he's introduced him to us at Joy Sports.
No, our Ghanaians know already. The name we are talking about, who have been signed today, it's a household name, or it's a name when it comes to boxing The name is very, very familiar to everyone because he started at a tender age, and now he has grown to a position that he can make Ghana proud. When he check where he grew up with, when he see where he is now, and when he see the obstacles that he has passed through, today he was in a different mood altogether. Today was a day that he has cried that nobody has beaten him. So that tells you that he has something deep in his mind. I just have to say that he's ready and he won it. And I am ready also to push him with the help of the management, and we'll make him great and proud to make Ghana proud. And when it comes to the relationship with the management, I'll say I have a relationship with the management that I have not had a relationship with any manager before, because the management that we all, grew up from the same vicinity, and now where we are now, trying to patch up to be one and manage one of the boxers from the bronze gym tells you we know what we are doing. So we have a great relationship, and all I have to do is the management, I have to be sure, I have to be ready, and I have to guide them and make sure everything goes on well. So when it comes to the relationship, we have a very good relationship that I have never had with any manager before.
In the UEFA Champions League, some good matches. Bayern Munich are leading at the moment 4-0 against Atletico Madrid, and FC Porto are also losing in their game as well. Yep, that's the highlights you see there from DSTV. Manchester City are leading by 3-1 against FC Porto. Bayern Munich are leading 4-0 against Atletico Madrid. Right. That's about it for the sport for now. Do follow us on social media, Joy Sports GH on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Gary Al Smith here. Thank you for your time.
Now, turnout in the first day of voting has been impressive in the Joy Ballot Box program at Boku. Scores of electorate turned out in their numbers to write the issues that may inform their votes on December 7 and drop them in the ballot boxes placed at strategic locations at Zebila, Boku, and Garu, all in the Upper East region. On Friday, October 23, constituents will engage their parliamentary candidates on the various issues on which they're casting their votes to align promises of their duty bearers with their real needs. Host of the Joy Ballot Box and deputy head of our politicals, Winston Amwa, joins me live with more. Winston, do you know how many people may have cast their votes by now?
Well, so Israel, by the time I was leaving Boku, the persons who were seeing to those casting their votes told us that about 150 to 200 had already cast their votes.
All right, that's impressive. And what are some of the issues they say are engaging them?
Well, so what we have done is to wait for the voting to end tomorrow at 5 p.m. So right. But during informal conversations, many of the persons have complained about the nature of their roads. And Israel, we use the roads also, and we know how the roads are. There's also been concerns about jobs. The youth would want jobs in the 3 constituencies. There have been complaints about sanitation. They feel that those who are being tasked to ensure sanitation are very old and sometimes not able to do the job. These and other issues have come up.
And what are the responses, some of the responses you're getting from the parliamentary candidates?
Well, for now, I mean, they're excited. They are excited that they would have a chance to engage their constituents. You know that these are not normal times. Any opportunity they get, they will be willing to take advantage of it. They've all assured us that they will be there, and they believe that this is the platform that would enable them to engage and explain their policies to their constituents, and as a result, propel them to Parliament come January 7, 2021.
All right, and before we go, how's Boku treating you?
Well, not bad. It's not bad. You take it like that.
All right. Okay, so enjoy. That's Winston Amwa, of the deputy head of our political desk. That'll be it for the bulletin, and that's it. My name is Israelite. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good evening.